With the NFL draft in the books, it is time to look at Cleveland's UDFA class, all the players they signed after the NFL draft was over. Now, full disclosure, it's not a great crop of UDFAs. And I think that's a product of the Browns had a lot of early draft picks. So these UDFAs kind of have their pick of the litter, which means they're not very tempted to go to places where it's going to be tough for them to make the roster. They like to go to places with few draft picks, like the Atlanta Falcons, the Minnesota Vikings, right? Teams that didn't draft a lot of rookies, so it's easier for those UDFAs to make it on the roster. But let's look at these guys in more detail in just a moment. But really quick, if you haven't yet, click that subscribe button. I would love to get to 45,000 subscribers. We're less than 100 away. So if you want more Browns coverage all summer long, scroll on down and click that sub button. Now, the first player is the best player. It is the Pitt safety, Donovan McMillon. So McMillon, he was the number 4 safety on Chad Reuter from NFL.com's UDFA position rankings. That's the highest ranking any of these UDFAs got. He played in all 13 games, starting in 12 of them last year for the Panthers. He led them in tackles for a second straight season with 115 last year. Before Pitt, like a lot of these UDFAs, he played somewhere else. He started off at Florida. He was there for 2 years, played in 25 games. Then he only played on special teams and a little bit of defense as a reserve safety. So he made the switch over to Pitt. So one of the better UDFA signings. I think he's got a chance to be like another D'Anthony Bell, Ronnie Hickman, to push for a 53-man roster spot. After that, we've got Dom Jones, cornerback out of Colorado State, that is. First thing you got to know about him is really good size, right? Nearly 6'3", pushing 200 pounds. He was at North Dakota State for 4 seasons, played in 41 games with 9 starts. Then he goes over to Colorado State, where he starts all 13 games last year at corner. So a little bit of depth being brought in the secondary after Cleveland did not go after a safety or a corner in the draft. So these are 2 guys that are going to have a chance of pushing for a roster spot, but it's never a bad consolation prize as a UDFA to make the practice squad. But last year, 2 guys for Cleveland made the roster as UDFAs. So don't rule out these players altogether. Next guy up is Jason Ivey. It is an offensive tackle from North Carolina A&T. I don't have a lot on him because North Carolina's A&T website didn't have a lot on him, so thanks a lot, guys. First thing I notice is he's kind of small for a tackle. I mean, tall, 6'5", but 287 pounds. Usually the starting rate is 300 pounds for the big fellas. Maybe they want to move him to defensive tackle? I don't know, Jim. Next guy I want to look at, though, is out of Tulane. It's an edge rusher, Adin Huntington. Him and Donovan McMillon are, I think, the 2 best UDFA signings. He's number 19 on Chad Reuter's edge UDFA rankings. Last year for the Green Wave, 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's got, pretty average, height and weight and size for an NFL edge rusher. 6'1", 281 pounds. And that was a spot that Cleveland did not really prioritize early in the draft. So could be an opportunity to make the practice squad there. We're going to look at these next 4 players in more detail in just a quick moment. But I do have to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is House of Atlas. After years of trying to get some facial hair, I've decided to switch to the clean-shaven look permanently. And I wanted to find a razor that matched my lifestyle. And the existing brands out there really haven't innovated in years. And I was excited to see the new brand Atlas on the market. The blade has 5 U.S.-made stainless steel blades that glide right through my facial hair. Their aftershave is awesome as well. It doesn't burn like old-school aftershave. And now for a limited time, they are offering 15% off your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes the precision shave cream and calming aftershave. Use code CHAT at houseofatlas.com. That's HOUSEOFATLAS.com with promo code CHAT for 15% off your new razor kit and before and after set. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as I did. I'm excited for this next guy because his name is Dartanyan. This is some Three Musketeers shit, is it not? Dartanyan Tinsley from Cincinnati, an offensive guard. I think that was one of the Three Musketeers' names. Or Game of Thrones a little bit, but that was one of the Three Musketeers, was it not? Okay, anyway. So he started off at Kentucky Christian, where he developed into one of the, and then went over to Cincinnati, where he developed into one of the Big 12's top guards as a 2-year starter for the Bearcats. Wrapped up his career in Cincy by starting 21 games and appearing in 30 from 2022 to 2024. What I've noticed about him, what I've read about him, is he's one of the most athletic and physically imposing offensive linemen that Cincinnati has seen on their offensive line in recent years. So either a major compliment to Dartanyan or doesn't say a whole lot about Cincinnati's offensive line over the last couple of years. Let's look at a running back now from App State. That is Ahmani Marshall. Appeared in 36 games for App State, rushing for 1,167 yards and 13 touchdowns over that time span. He had 6 100-yard games, reaching that mark in each of his final 5 games. As an FBS back, played 48 games, rushed for over 1,200 yards. He was an all-Sun Belt third-team performer at running back. Then we've got another. So these guys can carpool together from App State. It is tight end Eli Wilson. Appeared in 50 games with 21 starts, all Sun Belt recognition in 2023 and 2024. He had 78 grabs for 775 yards and 12 touchdowns in his career. That is tied for the third highest total among App State tight ends in program history. And I feel like there is a good amount of possibility for him to sneak onto the roster as a third or fourth tight end. Let's switch over to the Big 12 with TCU cornerback Lamareon James. Led the Big 12 while tying for second nationally with 14 pass breakups, 5'10", 190 pounds, so maybe not ideal height and size for an NFL DB. They could maybe move him to the inside a little bit. Started all 13 games for them as well. I think this could be a really fun pickup for Cleveland. All right. Moving on a little bit here, let's look at, we've got 2 more guys. Brent Matiscik. This is like Milkshake from Severance. Matiscik, he's a long snapper. He's your new long snapper. The Browns don't have a long snapper, right? Well, they had Rex fill in last year when Charlie Hewlett got injured, and they moved on from Hewlett. So I think Brett and Rex Serena, whatever his last name was, from Northeast Ohio, those 2 are going to compete for that starting long snapping gig. And then finally, it's Gage Larvadian, wide receiver out of South Carolina. Don't have a ton on him other than he's a little bit of an undersized guy at 5'8", $171, 223 yards and 1 touchdown. One last thing on the long snapper. I do have this. Team captain, so you're getting a good guy. Snapped in every game for 3 straight seasons. And he was invited to the NFL Combine. So clearly one of the higher, more priority special teamers like kickers and punters out there that Cleveland wanted to bring in to maybe be this team's next long snapper for a decade. Did you see the Patriots, by the way, drafted a long snapper? Apparently he's like the god of long snapping. I don't know how you evaluate long snappers. I don't know if it's what's the percentage of a long snapper evaluation? The snap or any kind of blocking, going downfield to tackle, the speed of the snap? Really? I didn't know that. Like, what's the pie breakup? The rotation, the speed, how quickly you can get downfield and block. You're blocking as well at the line of scrimmage. We got to get a long snapper on the show. Brent, if you're watching, Brent's definitely watching. Brent, actually, we live in Dallas. That's where Chat Sports is. You're right down the road. Come on over. Can we do a full long snap breakdown, Brent? All right, recapping one more time. These are your moneymakers right here. Donovan and Adin. These are 2 guys that cracked Chad Reuter's top 20 of positional UDFAs for their respective positions. And then I like this guy. His name's Dartanyan. That's awesome. So I'm rooting for him. Tinsley, you're one of my new favorite UDFAs of all time. And then Brent, who's going to be on the show soon. So we have so many cool guys, actually. I started off kind of poo-pooing this UDFA class. There's a 3 Musketeer. there's Brent, who looks super cool, by the way. And yeah, good mustache indeed. Brent, let's go to Hutchins Barbecue together. And then Donovan McMillon, who, by the way, when I started typing his name, it was like 11:30 last night. I was watching Air Disasters with my computer on my lap, just before I go to bed, and I typed in Donovan Mitchell UDFA, and I was like, "There's not a lot popping up. Guys, this is not Donovan Mitchell. This is Donovan McMillon." Who was your favorite draft pick for Cleveland? I'm gonna go with Harold Fandon. Just when you take into account where you found him and how good he could be, like Mason Graham's gonna be, probably the best player, but took him 5th overall. That's kind of expected. But give me pick 67 out of Bowling Green, Harold Fandon.